everybody, and welcome once again to another episode of Bill Has Opinions, where we sit around and drink on the internet, which is exactly what we'd be doing in person if there weren't a pandemic. Really what we do. I'm Laura Lavoie, of course, and I am joined with Bill Perkins, who has opinions. Welcome, Bill.
Hi.
Hi.
And a merry superb owl to everyone out there if you enjoyed that game last night.
Or if you didn't.
Or if you didn't watch it, whatever. I hope you had a good Sunday either way.
Yeah, big game of sports ball. Unfortunately, for me anyway, I think for you as well, the Tom Brady's won. But we'll live to watch football another year.
Yeah. It is what it is.
There's nothing you can really do about that. Although, unfortunately, the game started. It was written in the stars, like in the first quarter. Like you're like, yeah, I think the Tom Brady's are gonna win.
I kind of got that feeling from what I was seeing there. You know, I was, this is not. Yeah, I was sort of surprised. I thought it was gonna be a closer game than that. I thought it was gonna go the other way, honestly, but. Either way, it should be closer, you know? So.
Yeah, no, Mahomes is a talented quarterback. I wish he had played better, to be honest. But I'll tell you what, though. We had our own little Super Bowl party, just me and Matt and the cat, and we made nachos, and we watched the game. Probably watched more of the game than we normally do, like, because if we go to a party. Well, because, I mean, we could stay in our own living room and watch the game. Like, if we go to a party round about, you know, a little after halftime, we're like, well, I gotta work tomorrow, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So. I got you. And, you know, that's one of the things I do miss. I'm not a big sports fan. I do sometimes go to Super Bowl parties, at least every other year probably. But the thing when I don't go to them that I miss is the Super Bowl party foods, the buffalo chicken dip, the Totino's pizza rolls.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and if this show had been in a different time, if it had been the day before the Super Bowl, we might have had a show. But maybe next year, maybe it'll line. The stars will align.
I don't want to waste too much time on that. I just, you know, it happened. It's current events, and I thought I'd talk about it for a sec.
It is indeed. But let's switch to other current events. What are you drinking?
What I'm drinking right now is Duck Rabbit Milk Stout because I'm coming to you from the last time for the next couple weeks probably live from the Purple Onion because they're going to be reopening this week for February. And so therefore anyway, the stuff that's on tap right now is stuff that was on tap back at the end of the year, and some of it is probably on its way out, and most of it's been used up, actually. I'm surprised at the number of taps that have been emptied because I went to go get something yesterday. I was like, oh, hey, I guess that's empty, and that's empty, and that's empty. But
has it been your job, like, to clear out the old kegs?
Well, me and some of the other employees, I guess, have been working on it because some of the stuff that was empty was there were some IPAs that were empty that I was surprised that those got tapped out, and then there was. I think most stuff's been tapped out now, except for I'm going to say there's probably a Dunkel there, and Dunkel's too sweet for me. Even though I like brown beers, but I don't like Dunkels. They're too sweet, and so that's just going to get dumped, I guess. It's going to be dumpled.
That was funnier than it should have been. Thanks, Bill.
But the Duck Rabbit Milk Stout actually still tastes okay. It doesn't taste like it's gotten weird yet. Sometimes you'll pour yourself a really, one that's been on tap for a minute or two, and you're like, oh, that's gotten weird now. So this is surprisingly good. The what was it? There was one I was pouring yesterday. Oh, it was Two Hearted. I was trying to pour a glass of that yesterday, and it was like all foam. And I don't know if that's just because it's been sitting, without constant being poured, but you just wind up with a glass of foam on that one. So anyway, I'm drinking Duck Rabbit Milk Stout today, trying to finish that up so they can swap all the kegs over.
Good job.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
Well, I've got a nice little selection of things. You can see this. It looks like I'm drinking orange juice, but I'm actually not. Yeah, well, so we're gearing up. We're in the home stretch of being able to move back to Asheville. So we're trying to get our favorite beers from our local Atlanta breweries to one last hurrah.
Yeah.
And our favorite brewery in town, Three Taverns, released several of their cream sours, which is kind of a unique thing they do, and they're absolutely delicious. So this is the Cream Weaver. It's a kind of a take on a creamsicle situation.
Yeah, it sounds delicious.
And cream sour.
Does it taste like a creamsicle?
It does. It tastes like a pre-made beer mosa. Like if you took beer and orange juice.
It sounds pretty awesome to me.
It's very tasty.
I might ask you to bring one of those back.
And then I've got what they call the lazy sonker, which I guess sonker is another word for cobbler. I didn't know that until recently. But it's a blueberry cobbler cream sour.
Okay.
So it's very tasty, and I don't always love blueberry. But then I'm saving the best for last. We got here the Lord Fog, which is absolutely my favorite. And it is a Lord Grey, which is their Earl Grey beer, sour, but with lavender, vanilla, and cream.
Sure. I'm not sure how to feel about that.
That one is my favorite. My favorite beer in Atlanta.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I don't like lavender as a food flavor. It makes me think I'm eating soap. Like when I have like a lavender cheesecake or something, I'm like, this is soap.
I love lavender. What I don't like usually is Earl Grey, but with the lavender and the vanilla cream flavor, it's freaking delicious.
Okay.
Freaking delicious. So that is what I'm drinking. But, I mean, I know we have a drinking show, but that is not the topic of this week because we are less than a week away from the observance of Valentine's Day. So we thought we would bring everybody a little Valentine's Day cheer.
Yeah, Valentine's is serious times, right?
That's what I hear. Sure. So, Bill, can you give us a little monologue? What you got? What you know? What are your opinions about Valentine's Day?
I don't particularly care for it, to be honest with you. I think it's made up Hallmark nonsense. I mean, I know it pre-exists Hallmark, but it's totally a Hallmark holiday kind of thing. I'll say I've waxed and waned on my observance of it over the years, but the last few were pretty much in the non-observant category. Me and my wife both are kind of, I mean, she has to work. She runs a restaurant, so she'll be busy. At the same time, she calls it amateur night for restaurants because people who don't eat out on Valentine's Day, which is why actually part of the reason why we gave up Valentine's Day years ago is because one cannot get reservations unless they are prior to 6 o'clock or later than 10 usually. And so I think the last time we went out for Valentine's, which was probably about 5 years ago, we went out to Waffle House.
Nice.
Because it was what was available,
That is an excellent choice. I think that's perfect. And Heather's right. I mean, it is a greeting card holiday, but chocolate and love. So
what? The chocolate is half price the day after Valentine's Day.
That is true. So coming Monday, you'll get half price chocolate.
And speaking of so anyone who heard what I just said and thinks, oh, what a horrible, non-romantic person he is. Listen, here's my point about it. It's not that. It's just that you should show your significant other that you love them 365 days a year. It shouldn't require some dumb bullshit holiday to make you think about them. So the people who are going out to dinner on Valentine's Day are typically the kinds of people who don't show a modicum of adoration for their significant other the rest of the year. I feel like, you know what I mean? It's kind of a, I mean, I kind of get it. Like if you're in a new relationship, yeah, you kind of have to go through the motions of it, right?
But it becomes an obligation at some point for a lot of people.
Kinda, yeah.
Like we just go through the motions because it's Valentine's Day.
Right. So anyway, that's my feelings on the whole thing. Is it's kind of, you call it Valentine's Day, I call it whatever day of the week it'll be. I haven't even looked at the calendar.
This year it happens to be on Sunday. And so the reason I know that it happens to be on Sunday is that I have a wrinkle in the Valentine's Day experience.
Okay.
Because Valentine's Day is actually my anniversary. So it makes it convenient to remember because and since we never got legally married, so it's our first date. So very conveniently, our first date was on Valentine's Day.
Oh, your first day. Yeah,
first
okay.
Date.
That's a harder anniversary to remember than, whatever we're an official. I don't know.
We didn't have one of those.
I guess you did. Yeah, you did. That'd be weird too, because you'd have to remember what night you decided you were a thing, right?
Well, that's why we go with Valentine's Day, right? It's easy to remember. We've been together 26 years this Valentine's Day, so we were never on and off again or any of that bullshit. Like we started dating 26 years ago, and we are still together today.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I understand that, but that's about. Did you go out on Valentine's Day specifically for to be cute at the time? Or?
No. Actually, it's an even crazier story than that. I'll try to give you the Cliff's Notes version. I was living with a girl who was dealing with mental health problems. In the 90s, they didn't really treat mental health problems well. And right. She stopped going to class. She would not leave our dorm room. She was literally freaking out all the time, constant anxiety. She finally went to the campus clinic and they just prescribed her a medication. But she was kind of a hippie kind of girl and she didn't want to take medication that she didn't know what it was, like it wasn't natural. So, but she needed to because she hadn't left our dorm room in like 8 weeks or longer. So and during this period of time, I knew Matt. I met him through various friends. And I developed a crush on him. So we made a bet. And it was if she took the medication first, I had to ask Matt out. Or if I asked Matt out, she had to take the medication. So fast forward, I guess rewind now because it was 26 years ago. It was the day before Valentine's Day. I came home from classes. And she's just sitting up on the top bunk, and she looks down at me and she said, "I took the pill." I said, "Fuck." So I now had to go ask Matt out.
So did she take the pills just because she wanted to see how that would unfold?
No, she finally, mustered up enough courage to take it. So
she was tired of feeling lousy, I guess.
Yeah.
Said, what the hell? Okay.
Exactly. So the next day I went to the computer lab where Matt worked. And I waited for him to be done with talking to someone. And before I had a chance to ask him out, he asked me out.
Wow. How about that?
How about that? So, and we've been together ever since. We went out to a restaurant in Kalamazoo, Michigan called Carlos Murphy's.
Did you go at 4 or 10?
I don't remember. And honestly, I don't remember making reservations or anything. I think we just got lucky.
Okay.
But it was like this weird Mexican-Irish bar restaurant place.
Jose O'Malley's.
Like, I don't think anybody, yes, exactly. I don't think anybody else would have gone there for Valentine's Day. It wasn't exactly a romantic destination. And then we went to an arcade. And that was our first date.
Cool. That sounds like a good first date.
Hey, it worked out. I cannot complain.
If I had chimichangas with potatoes O'Brien, and then got to go play video games afterwards.
You might celebrate Valentine's Day now.
Yeah, could be a thing. Who knows?
It could be indeed. All right, so we should probably take a quick break for our station break here.
Sure.
Let's do that. So this episode is brought to you by, as always, the Purple Onion in Saluda, North Carolina. Which, as Bill indicated, they've been closed since the beginning of the year, but they are back from break on February 10th, which is just a couple days away. So if you happen to be in Saluda, go on down, have some food.
Sure. Even come by for Valentine's.
But I suggest making reservations.
Yeah. Are you taking reservations for Valentine's, Emily? No, she's not responding to me.
Well, they may or may not be taking reservations, so call ahead and find out.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, they'll be glad to have you either way.
Absolutely. And I know that they're staying real safe. There's lots of protocol in place. So
they've got masks. They've got little plastic shields in front of the bar and everything, and they've got half as many tables and everything spread out. So it probably would behoove you to try and make a reservation because they have half as many tables, and it's the time of year where you're not probably going to eat outside. So
Correct. Yes, it's going to get a little on the chilly side this coming weekend. So
yeah. Speaking of, we had snow actually over the weekend. We had a lot of snow, but thankfully we also had a lot of sunshine right after the snow, and the snow was gone pretty quickly.
Right? Yeah, I saw that it happened. Yeah, Atlanta has not gotten any snow of note since we've been back. So I'm actually looking forward to coming back to like some nice short, winter weather in Asheville.
Yeah. It was the perfect thing. I love it. I love it when you get, so I think we probably had somewhere between 4 and 6 inches, but then immediately the sun came out, and by the end of Sunday afternoon it was gone, and you could drive around by Sunday morning.
Right.
So that's perfect to me. Like if it snows and it's pretty, but it doesn't keep me trapped in the house. Awesome. So
awesome. All right. So unlike last week, I'm not as prepared as I knew I needed to do this, and then I didn't. So I have notes on my computer, my tiny handheld computer right here.
Oh, the small computer, yes.
My small computer, my tiny computer. We once had a friend, this was like when cell phones or smartphones were just becoming a thing. Right. And we met a friend at a bar, and he looked, and one of us pulled out our phone. He's like, "What is that? A handheld computing device?" I'm like, "You're not 90." Like, yes.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. But then for a while on all my smartphones, like, you can change the name of the smartphone and your network and stuff. They were all handheld computing device.
Okay.
For a while. All right, but that is unrelated. So, of course, Valentine's Day is named for the Catholic saint, Saint Valentine. And like all Catholic saints, he has a name. He was Saint Valentine of Rome, and he has a day. And but somehow along the way, his day became associated with courtly love, and I don't really know what the definition is. But here's one. Here's a fun fact. He was also the patron saint of epilepsy.
Huh.
I don't know how that's related at all or not. But he was a martyr, so he was eventually killed, and somehow I've heard the this is just what I remember. Like, there was a tradition where he was marrying people that couldn't otherwise be married, and that's how he
got associated with coupling.
Yeah, and then he was killed and subsequently martyred, which then led to him becoming the patron saint of love. So that is my understanding of it.
All righty. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's a weird thing, is what it is. And then so Valentine's Day, you got your Valentine's Day, which is, we just discussed and we've talked about a little. And then you've got Galentine's Day, which is actually today, I guess, right? Today is Galentine's Day.
Yes.
Which is another made-up holiday, but this was made up by a TV show.
It really took on a life of its own. It's from Parks and Rec. And now it's official. Like, people celebrate this
I've heard commercials and stuff for it, and I was like, when Laura pitched the idea that we were doing a Valentine's show, I was like, oh, we need to talk about these like peripheral. That is a very pretty color. Is that the blueberry?
This is the blueberry one.
Yeah. So I mentioned that we need to talk about these sort of peripheral, sort of related holidays to Valentine's Day, and Galentine's Day would be one of them. anyway, yeah, crazy that like it was like some made up crap on a TV show and it just took off. Like people were like, hell yeah, that's a good idea. I like it. And so that's one where you celebrate your girlfriends, I guess. Is that the idea? You go out and you have a good time with your girlfriends, and I guess it's kind of somewhat pitched to single ladies as a feel good thing, so you don't feel shitty about not having a significant other on Valentine's Day. But it could. I imagine you could have a significant other and still go out with your girlfriends the night before,
right?
And have the Galentine's Day if that's something you wanted to do. So there you go. Actually,
and it became on the show, I guess it was associated with brunch, and on the show in particular, anytime brunch or breakfast was mentioned, waffles are a big deal. So waffles have become associated with Galentine's Day because of the show.
So Waffle House would be a perfect place for Galentine's Day.
Perfect place.
Except for the fact that they don't have mimosas at Waffle House. That might also be a thing you might want. Yeah. Although, well, let's see. Wait. So Galentine's Day is going to be on Saturday this year, which actually is the perfect day for Galentine's Day to happen. If you're going to go to a brunch place, I wouldn't make it. I honestly wouldn't go to Waffle House this year unless you're sober or a teetotaler or something.
Oh, our Waffle Houses are still closed. So.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Not even a possibility.
Interesting.
Yep.
That is interesting news. Okay. I don't know what the story is on Waffle Houses around here because I haven't been to one in a while, but
if you want to be safe, especially this year, a good old-fashioned Zoom Galentine's Day with your mimosas and your own individual waffle. Sure. It's a fine way to do it.
If you've got a pod that you're comfortable with, maybe you can just get together and make Belgian waffles and mimosas at home.
See?
With your
gals.
Yeah. It is Galentine's Day. I don't know what dudes do on Galentine's Day except sit home and, feel left out.
That, you know what? Dudes haven't been left out of Western culture ever. So just
right. It's a damn. I'm surprised. Some incel person has
activists.
Yeah, hasn't made a big stink about Galentine's Day being an affront to white males. Sorry,
apparently there's a Galentine's Day emergency. It's called Valentine's Day.
I did hear something about Palantines, and I don't know what the fuck that is, but
my thought is that, if I were in charge, it would be the masculine version of Galentine's Day.
Okay, so maybe that's where dudes hang out while their girls are on at Galentine's Day.
Maybe, but hey, let's not conform to gender stereotypes.
I know, right? Like it seems like a lot of binary nonsense going on, right?
Exactly, but Heather suggests Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
And getting chased by the cops, which is apparently what's happening outside the door.
Well, no, this was. I guess there seems to be a fire emergency going on somewhere in the area, and so there's a volunteer fire department. This is a very small town, and boy, I tell you what, they are rolling every vehicle they got.
Every fire truck.
All three of the fire trucks have now left the buildings.
Wow. Yeah. No. I hope everyone's okay.
Yeah. I can only hope. We'll see what happens. But whew.
All right. But you also specifically wanted to mention another Valentine's type.
It doesn't happen this time of year. It's not related to Valentine's Day, except that it is. It's just Valentine's Day in the fall.
Yes. So, hey, we've got a new feature, folks. Check this out.
Here we go.
I'm so glad you're amused by that because I was very pleased when I made that. But yeah, it is an event called Sweetest Day, and I grew up with it. It was normal, and it takes place like October 15th, 16th, somewhere in that range.
It's the third Sunday in October. Is that right? I think that's what I read. I think
so. It often fell on my brother's birthday, and his birthday is the 16th. So honestly, that's the only way I remembered when it was.
Okay. So I never heard of it until I was living in Chicago, and I'd hear shit on the radio about it, like for this sweetest day, be sure to come by this jewelry store, or come by this chocolate place, and I was like, what the hell are they talking about? What is sweetest day? And so what it is, it's basically second Valentine's Day. Am I right? Like it's just like some like as much horseshit as Valentine's Day is. This is more horseshit.
But it's purely Midwestern. It exists that was one of the things that when I moved south and I said something about sweetest day to someone and they just looked at me like I had 7 heads. They're like, I don't know what you mean. And I'm like, it's not a thing. And it's not a thing. I didn't even know it existed outside of Michigan.
Yeah, but it was in Chicago too. So I assume it's mostly, and I think I looked it up and it said it was a Midwestern holiday.
At the very least, the Great Lakes states, our favorite Minnesotan could tell us if it's celebrated in Minnesota.
Yeah, is that a thing that they do there, Heather?
Yeah, for me, it was always normal. But for me, it was also Valentine's Day light. It wasn't as big a deal as Valentine's Day.
Yeah. If you forget
you didn't buy gifts.
Sure. Yeah, if you forget sweetest day, you're not likely to get broken up with.
Right.
There might be a small tiff, but there won't be a huge tiff like you forgot some bigger thing.
In my high school, I think it was also kind of a fundraising thing because twice a year, some student club or another would sell carnations, and it would happen at Valentine's Day and Sweetest Day, and you could buy a carnation to be delivered to someone in their class. So of course it became this huge status thing because you wanted to prove you had a boyfriend, or you wanted to hope that your boyfriend would send you one so that you were like, oh, for me.
And so they used carnations because they were too cheap for roses.
Yeah, for sure. There was no way they were buying roses.
This is funny. My wife actually, if I bring my wife flowers, she doesn't like carnations because she says those are death flowers. Those are the flowers you send to a funeral, she says.
Well, I don't like carnations either, but to me, they were the cheap flower. Because you couldn't spring for a rose.
They did that at your school, but did they have Sweetest Day in Minnesota?
That is the question.
Wherever.
Oh, that's a fair point. High school students don't have any money.
It's what I feel like our kids had roses at Valentine's Day.
We were not cool enough for roses.
I don't remember any of this going on when I was in school, but I know my kids, I feel like there were roses you could buy. And then if you didn't get roses, sometimes kids would buy them for themselves and have them sent to themselves, like it's an anonymous friend.
Heather does not remember Sweetest Day. So okay. I don't think you're too old, Heather, because you're about our age. And
I think it's older than us.
Sweetest Day, if Sweetest Day were a thing. So it's very possible it was purely the Great Lakes state, Illinois, Michigan, maybe Ohio, maybe Indiana, but
could be. Yeah, I don't know. I was aware of it, and I brought it up, and then you were like, "Oh crap, that was a thing." You knew about that. I was like, "Yeah."
I had pretty much forgotten. So thanks everybody. That's been our segment.
And we'll have more Midwestern anomalies coming at you throughout the year.
We have realized that there's quite a few. I know we've talked about some in the past, but there's more.
Yeah,
there's certainly more.
That's what led to this segment creation was after I brought up Sweetest Day, and I realized we'd had other crazy things like that were specifically Midwestern that we talked about. I was like, hey, we should make this a thing. So anyway, that's another holiday you can ignore.
It is, absolutely. So specifically talked about, at least in my high school, what Valentine's Day was like, where you could send your little flowers, send them to your friends, you could send them to yourselves, you can send them to your boyfriend or girlfriend. And it definitely was a status thing. But that also got me thinking about Valentine's Day when we were in elementary school.
Oh, yeah. That was so I don't remember it that much in high school, but I remember elementary school it being a thing, a huge thing. Because I remember there were years when we would do this thing where we would have this little, I don't know how to describe it, like a folder or an envelope of some sort attached to or a box or something attached to the front of your desk.
Yep.
and people would come by, and of course you get those themed Valentines.
Yeah, the little ones that are like a perforated,
sheet. Yeah, you get like 12 on a sheet or whatever it is, and you get whatever theme you get: Scooby Doo, Batman, My Little Pony, and I don't know how you felt about this, but I was very so there would be different messages on them, and they would range from "Hey, we're friends" to saucier. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
Some of them would be like, "You're a great pal," and then some of them would be like, I don't know, like, and you'd be very careful about who you gave what to, right? Like you'd be like, I'm gonna put this one over here, and I'm gonna think about that one for a minute because that's definitely not going to a guy. And it's only going to one of 5 girls, probably.
Right, and of course, this ritual was made most famous, I think, by The Simpsons with the "I choose you."
Yes.
Ralph, I was not dissimilar to Ralph Wiggins when I was a kid. I was like the nerdy, shy, introverted kid.
Yeah, I think Ralph Wiggins is also an idiot, though.
Well, also that. Yeah, I was at least relatively smart. At least I wore glasses, so they thought I was smart. So, I don't know. But that said, because there was a stigma attached to how many cards you got and what the messages on the cards said. So, it was such a horrible thing for, bullying or whatever, because, we force children to give out these messages, and then we shun them or stigmatize them for not getting enough, and then they get bullied on the schoolyard because they're unpopular.
Okay, so here's the thing. In my school, actually, everybody got all the, if there were 26 people in your class, you got 26 Valentines. There was none of that bullshit. My teachers were all like, you bring one for everybody or you don't bring them.
Some of my teachers did that, and sometimes it didn't. But then it was always the message, right? Did you get the "Happy Valentine's, pal," or did you get the "I love you forever"?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, these rituals, man.
I guess so, yeah. And I don't, I don't really remember how I felt. Looking back, I don't remember how I felt about being on the receiving end of any of it. I don't know. I don't know if I blocked it out because it's horrible, or if I just don't care, or if it wasn't that big a deal. I don't know. The only Valentine's Day memory I really have was I remember, when was this? I want to say it was 3rd or 4th grade. I can't remember exactly which grade it was. But my grandmother had crocheted these little doily hearts.
Nice.
It made a little pin out of it, and I had one that I stuck on my shirt for Valentine's Day, and I remember putting she gave me an extra one, and I put that on the card for the girl that I had the biggest crush on.
Nice.
And that's the only real memory I have of the entire thing, was that.
Nice. That's good stuff when you can express your love with a little crocheted heart.
Yeah, a little crocheted. Yeah, it was smaller than that.
I'm sure, but I'm not capable of thinking.
But, it was like a little lapel pin, but it was crocheted. It looked like a little doily.
Yeah, that's fancy stuff right there. So
right.
I'm with you, Heather. Super geeky Valentines, Star Wars Valentines, any of those.
So I did that actually after I started working, an office job in my 20s and probably into my 30s. I've stopped now. I guess I did it 2 jobs ago. I was still doing it, but I haven't. I wouldn't do it. Obviously, I'm not going to do it in my current job because. But previous jobs, I would go and purchase I still go purchase a pack of. And ever since I was an adult, it would always be Batman. I'd always get a pack of Batman Valentines, and I'd take them to work.
Nice.
And I'd give them out. And I probably wouldn't give out the entire box. I'd probably give out 8 of them or something, to my closest coworkers maybe. And I'd throw out all the ones that had anything saucy. It'd just be the pals ones.
I think that's a great idea. I think completely reviving the whole idea of like just totally platonic Valentine's messages to friends is a great idea.
Yeah, we always had a fun, like the job 2 jobs ago when I was still doing it. You would come in that morning, Valentine's morning, and you probably have about 6. I mean, I'm not saying everybody didn't do it, but the people who did it, you know, to everybody, like walked through the whole place and threw Valentine's on everybody's desk.
Nice. Yeah, I wish I had lived or worked in an environment like that because that would have been awesome.
I mean, some of them were like just candy. I remember one of my Batman Valentines one year came with pencil erasers.
Nice.
So they were like the Bat Signal pencil erasers or something like that, or I don't know. They were different. There were a couple, like 3 different shapes or something. And then some people would come through and give you like a pack of gummies or a small pack of M&Ms or something like that. But anyway, that was cute. And it I don't know, it just breaks up the work week, I guess. But I don't see that happening at my current job. I'm not. If it does happen, I'm not going to be the one to break doing it. So let's say I'll be surprised if it happens at some point this week. Yeah.
No. Yeah. I mean, there's some environments where that just doesn't fly.
My environment's pretty stiff now, so I'm thinking no.
So we didn't have this on the schedule, but I do have to ask you: Valentine's Day candy. Pick one: chocolate or those little conversation hearts. How do you go?
Well, I think Nico wafers taste like chalk.
They really do.
I mean, it's just colored chalk that you eat, right? So I'm not advocating those. I mean, I guess there's a certain fun to them. I bet you nowadays there's probably somebody who's making ribbled conversation hearts, which that would be fun, right?
Oh yes, I'm sure they are.
I can see that being a thing now. And if they were made, so I don't know if they I feel like for 1 year when I was a kid that I found conversation hearts that were actually sour, like sweet tarts.
Yes, I was going to say that there's sweet tart conversation hearts, and those are by far superior.
Those are awesome. Because they're actually edible, whereas the Nico wafer ones, just like I said, are chalk.
Yeah, those you read the message and throw it away.
Like you'd have more fun eating antacids, honestly.
Oh my God! Product idea: adult Valentines conversation antacids.
Just like a thing of Tums, but they're heart shaped.
Exactly. Let's get seriously, folks. Whoever's in charge of making Tums,
get on that. There's a
get on that. It's gold.
Romantic Tums,
Absolutely gold. Do that.
Yeah. So I guess chocolate, but just for the sake of it, it's chocolate tastes like chocolate for the most part all the time. Even the shitty cheap Palmer chocolate still tastes like chocolate, right?
True.
And but Nico wafers are not edible.
They're just not. They're not food. I don't know what they are, but they're not food. I have a friend who was when Necca Wafers was going out of business, or the company that made them stopped making them, and so I actually wonder, can we even get conversation hearts right now?
It was one of those saved from the jaws of bankruptcy things. Some other company swooped in and bought it, and everybody was like, well, "Hooray!" And it's one of those things. It's like it was one of those things where everybody was upset because something's going away, but it's not something anybody actually gave a shit about. So it's kind of like people like the choice. Like they like having the idea of, I want to be able to buy crappy chalky candy if I want it,
right?
But I'm not necessarily going to go out and buy it to save this company. But somebody swooped in and purchased it, I think, and it's all going to work out as far as I'm aware. So if you want chalky, then it's still available for you.
It is. I had a friend who was like buying all of just not the conversation hearts, but the actual Necco wafers.
Yeah.
Like he was buying all of them, and I'm like, but they will last forever. Like you could open,
they won't go stale.
Wafer 20 years from now, it will taste exactly like a Necco wafer from today.
It's true. I will say this: I do feel like the wafers are slightly better tasting than the conversation hearts.
They're thinner, so I think they just have they're almost like a little I don't know, Catholic communion.
They are. They're exactly the same shape and size as a communion wafer. They are a little different consistency because the communion wafers taste more like a piece of polystyrene.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, I grew up Catholic. Yes, they do. But hey, here's another idea. Catholic Church, get on this. Necco wafers.
There you go. Yeah, you can get them to print them with a special mold. They can put like a cross and some crap on there, you know.
Well, and like put them in the little basket with other, like, so it's a surprise every time. Like the person getting communion be like, will I get a regular host or will I get a Necco wafer? I don't know.
It's like communion roulette.
Exactly. I love this idea. I'm not in charge of making tongues, nor am I in charge of the Catholic Church.
Maybe for the gluten intolerant, they give them the Necco wafer, right? Like,
I'm pretty sure Necco wafers are gluten free, but I can't guarantee that.
This is my lime chalk, dude. This remembers from me. These are my bones. They're dry.
I'm just in my head are all these inappropriate Catholic jokes that I am thinking of. But I will. Let's move on, shall we?
All right.
So I thought it would be fun, off the cuff, since it's still a little less than a week away, actual Valentine's Day. Any viewers watching, I thought we could give them some gift-giving ideas. So, do you have any, not giving away anything, if you don't celebrate, you didn't buy anything anyway, but so not giving away any surprises, what are the top Valentine's Day gifts to give someone?
You mean like we're playing Family Feud?
Sure, yes. If I wish I had like that.
Yeah. I'm going to guess chocolate first.
I think that's a top one.
Survey says
chocolate. Ding, ding, ding.
I would say jewelry, perfume, lingerie. I don't know, man. What? That's all my guesses. I don't know what else. I don't know.
I think so. Anybody who gives their partner, especially at the beginning of a relationship, lingerie, like seriously, folks, like, could you be any more obvious?
I mean, you could be a little more obvious.
How about you just ask your new girlfriend, would you like to sleep with me tonight?
Well, what if you've already slept together?
Yeah, but I still don't I think lingerie is just, you know what? And also, like, women are very particular about the fit of things. I assume men too, if you want to buy them sexy underpants. Like,
not as much.
I disagree. My man,
okay.
I cannot buy him under things.
Sorry, the underpants, if the underpants are for one-time show or if they're for like daily wear, yes, I would give a shit. But if it was for like hey, will you put these on for once? I couldn't care less what they said. You know?
But yeah, lingerie, it's intimate, obviously, but I think it's a little, even if you've been together for a long time, like, you better know your partner very, very well to be able to get them something that they want to wear and they feel good in. Like,
I argue that lingerie is a gift for the person giving it.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
It's not much of a gift, honestly, but I do think people do that. You know, so I don't know, but yeah.
I remember, so my sister got married when I was 13. She was 24, I guess. And I distinctly remember at wedding showers, I'm, a teenage kid and literally everything is embarrassing to me. But I remember several people giving my sister lingerie for her wedding shower. And I'm like, what kind of bullshit is this? Like, you're like, hey, y'all, apparently you can have sex now. Here's some lingerie.
That's weirder to me than your significant other giving it to you because, well, first off, you don't know what either one of them like. You know what I mean? Like, you're just a friend. Like, unless you've had a discussion about it, that seems weirder to me to get it at a wedding shower than for Valentine's. But
Yeah, no, I hear it. Yeah, and I'm with you. Oh, yeah, and I agree, Heather, here. Wedding shower undies, yucky. Yeah, no, it's weird because you're very much making a statement. Like, hey, we know what getting married means. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
right.
Guess what? We're all in your bedroom now. Hey, congratulations.
That's odd. Yeah, I don't. Did that go away after a certain period of time?
I think so. Yes, because I don't
You
remember
get
it.
appliances now, like that. That's all you get: pots and pans and appliances.
Now it's pretty much strictly your registry. Like very few people go beyond the registry.
Yeah, they don't get off registry. That's troublesome.
Yeah, I have only done it once. I've only done it once, not bonking. I've only bought someone something not on a registry once, and it was some friends that I introduced them, and I introduced them by inviting them both over my house to build a snowman.
So you got them a snowman,
like the snowman kit, where you have the little, like all the plastic little pieces that you like plastic coal to make eyes and a little plastic carrot and stuff.
I got you. Okay, so it was cute. I thought it
was cute. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
And it was something only I could do.
I went off registry once because a friend of mine was marrying a girl that I didn't like per se. I realized after the fact that I thought she was really bitchy and not a good match for him. But I realized later, like after they got married, they were actually like I saw them together again as a couple, and she was fine. And I realized it was probably she was just in the bridezilla mode.
Sure. Yeah.
But at the time. So he had jokingly said to me that he wanted to put a PlayStation on the registry, and she was like, "No, we're not." And so me and a friend went in together because we both hated her at the time, and we went in together and bought a PlayStation as a wedding present, primarily to break them up. Honestly, like it was kind of a salty gift, but anyway, they're still married. They got a bunch of kids, and I don't know.
See, it didn't work.
Didn't work, and he enjoyed the PlayStation, I'm sure. So whatever. That's the only time I've ever gone off registry.
It is related tangentially to Valentine's Day because it is weddings, and I don't know that we'd have a whole show for weddings. But we did once. We knew a guy who had been married at least twice before. There may have been a previous wedding he wasn't copping to. So he was divorced at least twice. And he told us after his second divorce, never let me get married again. Never let me do it. I never want to get married again. Don't let me get married again. We're like, okay. Turns out a couple years later, of course, he announces his engagement to someone else. And we're like, do we tell him? Because he told us to tell him not to do that. Mm-hmm. And we elected not to. They were divorced within 6 months.
See, I think you should have then, because he was serious. He meant like seriously, save me from myself. I'm cruel, and I make bad decisions.
I seriously considered the whole, speak now or forever hold your peace moment. And I'm like, I don't know. Apparently he's married again. He's married again now, but they've been married for a while. So
longer than 6 months.
A lot longer, like a couple of years now.
I don't get 6 months, man. Like that. Technically, you don't have to get a gift until they've been together for you have a year to get them a gift, right?
Do you?
That's the technical. Yeah, you don't have to give them a gift on their wedding day. You can give them a gift anytime in the first year.
Nice.
I got a gift for my ex-wife's cousin when she got married. And they were divorced within 4 months, I want to say. And I felt like, what a rip. You should have to send the gifts back. You didn't even give it the old college try. If you split up in 4 months, that's, I don't know.
Yeah, that seems significantly short. So
yeah, that's a messed up nonsense right there. So I was like, and then after that, I kind of got, I used to say I'm not buying anybody a present like on wedding day, but that was just me talking. I still do, whatever.
I will tell you one bummer about not choosing to get legally married. The only thing I wish that we had. Otherwise, I'm very, very happy with the situation. But motherfucker, the registry. Like, we've never had someone just give us shit. Like, we have to buy all our own shit. Just not.
That is true. I mean, it's not really a good trade-off though, because you spend several grand for a fancy party, and you get a couple $100 in appliances and pots and pans. So it's not really good. It's not a good trade-off.
That's fair. I remember that when my sister got married, because that was my first real sight. I was 13. That was my first real insight into a modern American wedding in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people, like, they had a registry, at least at the time. I don't think this happens as much anymore, especially with online registries. But a lot of people, like, they had their registry and they had specific things they wanted, but it wasn't like you went into the store and you scanned all the stuff. Like, it was, I mean, some of it was, but some of it was just like a list of our kitchen is going to be these colors, buy us things in these colors. The trend at the time, because it was the mid 80s, late 80s, was like that country modern. Yeah, yes, the country kitchen. Everything was like rose colored or country blue.
Yep, ducky goosey is one of my art professors called it.
That's exactly what it was. So a bunch of people, like, that wasn't my sister's style at all, but a bunch of people were like, here's all the ducky goosey. And it's like, so for a while their kitchen did have all that, because of course they're a young married couple in their 20s. And they didn't want to go and rebuy all that stuff.
They couldn't take it back and just swap it for something that was more them?
I don't know, because a lot of it didn't come right off the registry. It was just like, this is popular. They want that.
Huh. Yeah, okay.
No, I thought the whole situation was barbaric, and therefore I've never gotten married.
That's fair. It's a little silly. Some of it is very silly. That could be a whole other, but now we've talked about it, so we don't need to talk about it again, I suppose.
That's true. Well, it does fit in with the Valentine's Day theme. So for me, I'd just rather celebrate Valentine's Day as my anniversary, and I like to celebrate everything. So you give me a day to celebrate, and I will celebrate that. And in this case, this is what I'm celebrating.
Why did you quit being Catholic? Because you could have celebrated every day of the year. They got a saint day every day of the year.
That is true, but then I kind of joined the pagan movement. That's also a group of people that can fucking celebrate.
They got a day for every day of the year too.
A lot of them, yeah. Like, and then if you mix different traditions, first of all, you got the actual wheel of the year, which means there's a holiday every 6 weeks.
Right.
So no matter what, there's something.
But it's not as frequent as a saint day every day of the year. True.
Although being Catholic, we never celebrated the saint days every day. Like, right. I never did that.
No, most of them are probably regional. Like, they probably are like related to some saint in that area. Like, if you're like in northeastern Poland, then you have like this day is a big deal, but it's not necessarily a big deal if you live in, southeastern Germany or
right.
North.
Well, St. Patrick's Day has become, it's just a day about pretending you're Irish and getting drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting drunk in America. All these days become getting drunk days, except for Valentine's. So I think the only one that's not primarily geared towards getting libated.
I mean, you can. You're welcome to drink. Like, wine is popular.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can drink some red wine. You
need to be fancy though, and you got to drink wine.
Right. You can't. Nobody goes out for margaritas on.
Except for me. Well, though I was 19, so I couldn't get a margarita at Carlos Murphy's, but it's what I would have gotten because that's all we had. That's Carlos Murphy's in a nutshell. Unfortunately, it's gone. All right, we are coming to the end of the show, and I know that we have things that are extra.
Yeah.
What is extra this week?
I want to just spend a brief moment to talk about a combination of call out cancel culture, I guess you want to call it. I hear a lot of people belly aching about cancel culture, which I don't know, man. I'm actually for cancel culture to a degree. It's funny. I actually read a meme this morning that said the same people who whine about cancel culture now, nobody whined about it back when Colin Kaepernick got kicked off the fucking football team, right? But now they're whining about it because here's what it boils down to. People whine about it when their favorite celebrity finally gets canceled for being a dipshit or an awful person. So here's my advice, I guess. First and foremost is don't hero worship these fucking celebrities. They're human beings, and they have faults, and they're going to disappoint your ass. Don't go get a tattoo of them on your fucking arm, because you're gonna have to get it struck through later, unless they're dead. If they're dead and we already know everything we're going to know about them, then fine, go get a damn tattoo. But until then, understand these people are human, and at some point, even if they've been great people for 40 something years, you know what? They could go senile and then suddenly become a jackass. I mean, that happens.
No, I mean, I can think of some examples of that, like celebrities that totally fucked their own legacy because
right at the end, because yeah. But anyway, some of this I had this kind of on the back burner for a couple weeks now, or maybe even months, because I had people on my Facebook beseeching me to like sign some petition letter to save Johnny Depp's sorry ass from being canceled from J.K. Rowling's project. And first off, fuck J.K. Rowling.
First off, yes, we'll cancel her.
I don't want to watch Fantastic Beasts anymore, so I don't give a goddamn whether Johnny Depp's in it or not, because I'm not going to go see it. Okay? But secondly, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, that's a he said, she said. They're the equivalent of a knife fight at the trailer park on a Saturday night. And the only reason anybody gives a fuck is because they're both famous. If they weren't famous, they're just a couple of drunks fighting with each other, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't care about either one of them. Everybody's decided like, oh, Amber Heard's the horrible person. She's ruining Johnny Depp. No, he's a horrible person too. Look back at his fucking body of work. He's portrayed himself as an American Indian like at least twice in his career. He's worked with Roman Polanski. He's a horrible goddamn person who makes bad decisions. Let it go. He's canceled. Good day. And I saw that this week. Oh my God, this is what brought it up, is because this week has been like a cornucopia of cancel culture. Okay, so there was some redneck country singer said the N-word and his record label dropped him, and all this other horrible shit happened. Horrible shit. And then apparently the people who like racist country singers went out and amped up his sales 100 times. So he's laughing all the way to the bank, I guess. Although, he's never, let's put it this way, he's never going to perform a duet with Dolly Parton. He is never going to be in the Country Music Hall of Fame. And, more than likely, several other people will never have anything to do with him. So, he can laugh right now, but my guess is his second album's not going to do so hot. And then there was this week Marilyn Manson and Armie Hammer, both like within 3 days of each other. Those both blew up. Anyway, to hell with all of them. I don't. If you can't keep your nose clean, I don't know. Like, I mean, there's one thing. There's like fuck ups. Okay, there's obviously like, you got drunk and you robbed a store, or whatever the fuck. I mean, Winona Ryder, whatever. I mean. I think she kind of got a slap on the wrist and all that shit. But at the same time, in the scheme of things, aside from the fact that, white girl gets off with shit that a black man wouldn't get off on, I don't really have that much beef about it, But, but then there's other shit like, people who are just being horrible, abusive relationship folks, or people who, are racist or whatever the hell. They can get canceled. I don't care. And we can separate the art from the artist. And if you still want to there's a couple of R. Kelly songs that I think are funny, Although
I don't think that was the idea that R. Kelly was going for, but sure.
But no, they're ironically funny because R. Kelly's a crazy person. Right. So sometimes they're mildly humorous. You're like, wow, okay, that's not even a metaphor. He was just that overt about that. Okay.
Right. So,
I still giggle at some of that, but at the same time I can admit, yeah, he deserves to be in jail. And I can feel like a modicum of guilt for listening to it, maybe, I don't know. The larger point here is basically just, stop putting these people on a pedestal, because they're just human beings, and they're going to fail you eventually. And then when they do, you're going to have to be like, you don't want to be defending them after it happens, I guess is the main thing. Like, just let it go. Just go, you know what? Okay, yeah, he's a horrible person. And his first album was still awesome, but he's a horrible person.
Right. No, I told you that you should watch the Fran Lebowitz series on Netflix. And one of the things she says, and not about any of these celebrities by any means, because it was filmed many years ago, but she's like, look, if you have a job and you fuck up, you should get fired. Like, that's like, at the very least, you should get fired because you fucked up.
Right. So, that's just consequences. That's what happens, right?
Exactly. That's not cancel culture. That's literally, you're a shitty person and we're going to fire you.
Right. It would happen to any of us. If you came into work and said something racist or was abusive to one of your coworkers, you would get fired. You not being a celebrity. But when a celebrity does it because you're hung up on, their entire body of work or whatever, and you don't, oh my God, like, I can't believe you're doing this to poor Johnny Depp or poor Armie Hammer, or I don't know, whoever you've got it hung up on for, just, I don't know. Like, so you can still listen to their song or watch their old movie or whatever if you like it, but they don't really have a right to keep making stuff,
Right. No, I think that sums it right up. All right. We are at the end of our show. Next week, join us for our episode on theme parks, and we got plenty of things to talk about with that. Plus, with sort of wishful thinking, because I think we're all feeling a little cooped up, so we're going to talk about getting out and not being cooped up. So, Bill, can you take us away?
Yes, Bill Has Opinions is engineered and produced by Laura Lavoie. The opinions of Bill are those of his and his alone, and not necessarily the opinions of Laura or any of the people we shill for during the show. So don't hold them responsible. And vice versa with Laura's opinions. If she likes a thing and it's not necessarily the opinion of Bill unless he shakes his head in agreement. I think we're at odds about Valentine's Day. So there you go. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow us on Facebook and all that stuff. And we're here Monday night from 6 to 7 for the immediate time being. So be sure to tune in next week, and we'll be back with another show.
We will. We'll see you all then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.